Namaste. I know there is shortage of time and I know that, you need to go home. So I'm not going to take a very lengthy concert. Do something very rare. The next piece is Nataraj Stotram. One finds Mohiniyattam laden with lasya in the correct epitome or in the most conventional epitome of being one of grace and sringara. But actually lasya had a lot of connotations. I take the Chidambara Stotram because it is a very significant piece in the entire body dynamic of Mohiniyattam. So Lord Nataraja, who resides in Chidambaram, is once visited by sage Patanjali. He sees the Lord and he wants to go and see him. Nataraja's secretary, Nandi, stops him. And Patanjali says, I need to go see him. And he says, no. And he refuses entry. So what Patanjali does is recite this stotram. It is believed that Nataraja came from the Garbhagriha and performed the Saumya Tandavam. Why the Saumya Tandavam? Obviously, the other Tandavas are very impromptu and spontaneous and have a lot of rigor. Saumya Tandavam, maybe because of the behest of another person, it is much more unrestrained, which I thought would be adapted in Mohiniyattam. And today's will be a very different realm. And I would not enact all this. I just do the stotra because you see Nritta is all encompassing. It needs the Tandava as such needs no explanation. It is just bliss. And it is believed that Nandi lost his horns and his legs. That's why it's called the Charana Shringa Rahita Nataraja Stotram. Obviously in the grammatical formulae of Sanskrit, it is without the grammatical concepts of Charana and Shringa. Well, I don't know what that is, but it is. So this is Patanjali Rahita Nataraja Stotram. And this was first, so the person who suggested this to me was Sri Panchamakeshan, who I very fondly call Panchamanna, and he asked me to take this piece, and then the music evolved, and then the piece, it's a very small piece, after which I will be moving to the main piece of this evening. This is Charana Shringarahita Sri Nataraja Stotram.
निकुञ्चितपदं झल झल झलितमञ्जुकटकम् सगञ्जितमुदञ्जितनिकुञ्जितपदं झल झल झलितमञ्जुकटकम् पतञ्जलिदृगञ्जनमनञ्जनमचञ्चलपदं जननभञ्जनकरम् कदम्बरुचिमम्बरवसं परममं कुदकदम्बकविडङ्गगगलम् चिदं बुधिमणिं बुधहृदं भुजलविं परचिदं वरनडं हृदि भजे चिदं बुधिमणिं बुधहृदं भुजलविं परचिदं वरनडं हृदि भजे അഖണ്ഡദയമന്തരഹിതം വിരിഞ്ചി സുരസംഹതി പുരന്ധര വിചിന്തിത പദം തരുണചന്ദ്രമകുടം പരം പദ വിഖണ്ഡിതയമം ഭസിത മണ്ഡിതതനം വദനവഞ്ചന പരം ചിരന്തനമം പ്രണവ സഞ്ചിത നിധിം പരചിദം പരനടം ഹൃദി ഭജേ ചിരന്തനമം പ്രണവ സഞ്ചിത നിധിം പരചിദം പരനടം ഹൃദി ഭജേ അനന്തനവരത്ന വിലസൽ കടക കിങ്കിണി ജല 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 ജലരവം മുകുന്ദ വിധിഹസ്തഗത മദ്ദളലയ ധ്വനി ദിനി ദിനി നർത്തനവരം ശകുന്തരത ഭർക്കിരത നന്ദിമുഖ ശൃംഗിരിടി ശൃംഗിഗണ സംഘനികടം ശകുന്തരത ഭർക്കിരത നന്ദിമുഖ ശൃംഗിരിടി ഭംഗിഗണ സംഘനികടം സനന്ദ സനക പ്രമുഖ വന്ദിത പദം പരചിദം പരനടം ഹൃദി ഭജേ സനന്ദ സനക പ്രമുഖ വന്ദിത പദം പരചിദം പരനടം ഹൃദി ഭജേ അചിന്യമലിഹൃന്ദരുചി ബന്ധുരഗലം കുലിത കുന്ദനിപുരംബധവളം മുകുന്ദ സുരവൃന്ദവലഹംധൃകൃത വന്ദന സന്തമഹി കുണ്ടലതരം അകമ്പമനുകമ്പിതരതിം സുജനമംഗലിനി ഗജഹരം പശുപതിം ധനഞ്ജയനുതം പ്രണത ഭഞ്ജന പരം പരചിദം പരനടം ഹൃദി ഭജേ ധനഞ്ജയനുതം പ്രണത ഭഞ്ജന പരം പരചിദം പരനടം ഹൃദി ഭജേ അവന്തമഖിലം ജഗദഭംഗഗുണതുംഗമമതം ധൃതവിധും സുരസരീ തരംഗനിപുരം വധൃതിലം ഭടജടം ശമനഡംബ സുവരം ഭവഹരം അവന്തമഖിലം ജഗദഭംഗഗുണതുംഗമമതം ധൃതവിധും സുരസരീ തരംഗനിപുരം വധൃതിലം ഭടജടം ശമനഡംബ സുവരം ഭവഹരം ശിവം ദശ ദിഗന്ധര വിജൃംഭിതകരം കരല സംമൃഗ ശിശു പശുപതിം ഹരം ശശി ധനഞ്ജയ പദം ഗണയനം പരചിദം പരനടം ഹൃദി ഭജേ ഹരം ശശി ധനഞ്ജയ പദം ഗണയനം പരചിദം പരനടം ഹൃദി ഭജേ പരചിദം പരനടം ഹൃദി ഭജേ പരചിദം परचिदम्बरनडं हृदि भजे 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 परचिदम्बरनडं हृदि भजे.
The next piece is in praise of the Devi or the goddess, and this is written by Sri Raymond Thambi, a very famous poet musician of Kerala, and it describes the Devi of the temple Tiruvaratakavu, which is in Artingal. It's very simple. We describe the goddess, and in the Charana, the poet says, or the composer says that your drishti, a little bit of your glance is enough to annihilate all the misery. And here I do the episode of Raktabijasura Vadha, where Raktabijasura is an evil demon who tries to wreak havoc in the society, and Devi comes mounted on a lion and says, "You go." And he says, "No, you come and fight with me." She says, "You are just a trina for me." He says, "You come fight, get off your mount." He provokes her, and then she tries to fight, but with every drop of blood, with every blood that he sheds from his body, many more Raktabijasuras multiply. And again she fights, again they multiply. And finally she summons her alter ego Mahakali, who comes and drinks the blood of Raktabijasura, and she annihilates him forever. So the Puranic significance of such a story, I was told, is that Raktabijasura depicts our own society. It depicts ourselves in the sense that it also depicts our fears and anxieties. And the more you fight, the more it multiplies. And therefore, one needs to accept things. But for that, without submission, one needs to do that by bringing out an alternative power done through contemplation of the self. And with that, all the fears and anxieties just level up. This is what I was told, and I thought I found reason to that, because dance always, most of the time, is always within the self. And it must also serve the society at large in a certain way. And for that you needn't do classical need not move to contemporary dance, but within the realm of our own mythology, I think the gods and the goddesses really represent different emotions of ourselves, which has been very expertly laid down